Hi, Charlotte.
Hello, Madeline.
We're back.
We sure are.
Hooray.
We have a very exciting episode.
Yes.
Some relationship updates.
Oh, my God.
NBA drama.
Yep.
But first,
Dun, dun, dun.
you know him from every World Series and baseball in general.
Yes.
We have Ken Rosenthal.
Unbelievable. I can't believe Ken Rosenthal came on the pod. I'm honored. I'm honored. He's a legend.
An absolute legend.
We had a great time talking to him. We talked to him about the MLB gambling scandal that just broke, and he really dug into the details with us to give our listeners a great overview of the scandal. And then also, of course, we asked him about his favorite piece of sports gossip of all time, and his answer was incredible.
It's one of it. I don't know how I haven't been saying this.
I know.
As mine.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we call tease in the biz, folks.
Tease in the biz.
As always, without further ado, Ken Rosenthal. We are so thrilled to welcome to the show Ken Rosenthal, the man, the myth, the legend, two-time Sports Emmy Award-winner, reporter and insider for Fox Sports Major League Baseball coverage, and senior baseball writer for The Athletic. Ken, you have spent nearly 40 years covering the league. Thank you for taking a short piece of one of those years to talk to us today.
Thanks. That's a long time. And thanks for reminding me. Appreciate it.
Yeah, well, we should all be so lucky, honestly. So you're coming to us from Vegas right now, which I think
Yes.
if you're watching on YouTube, you can see the incredible wallpaper behind Ken there. You're there for GM meetings. How much of the conversation we're having you on because we need a little help understanding this, the betting scandal that broke at the top of this week. How much are people talking about that out in Vegas right now?
Not much here because this is an event in which teams start to meet about rules, about trades, free agent signings. That's the focus here. But yes, there is talk about it. Of course, it was a huge story. And actually, I wrote a story with Zach Meisel of The Athletic today talking about whether these guys would be paid as this case continues. If you remember, when they were put on baseball's restricted list, they were put on non-disciplinary paid leave. That's while baseball was investigating them. Now that there's an indictment, we will see, I would expect baseball to accelerate their investigation if it's not complete already, and then discipline them so the Guardians would not have to pay these guys who are probably not going to be available to them anytime soon and who probably are never going to be welcome in their clubhouse again.
Yeah.
So real quick, for people who might not know, can you give just a quick rundown of what happened?
Sure. I'm not a gambler, so it's a little bit foreign to me too. But basically, these two pitchers on the Guardians, Emmanuel Clase and Luis Ortiz, were rigging pitches, throwing pitches a certain way to ensure bettors won a lot of money. And how would they do this? They could throw a pitch not as hard as they normally do, under, for instance, 95 miles an hour, or in many cases, they would throw ball one instead of strike one. They would do that purposely so that the people betting on ball one would win their bets. And what has shocked a lot of people is that they didn't make a lot of money doing this. Clase is a guy who's making millions. He's a closer. He's well paid. Ortiz, not so well paid, but the major league minimum, $780,000. He's doing okay. Yet these were payments that they were receiving in the $10,000 range at most. Now, keep in mind, this is important. This is an indictment. It's not a conviction. Lawyers for both players have insisted they're innocent. So we'll just have to see it play out. But when you read the indictment, it's a pretty specifically laid out case against both these guys with seemingly lots of evidence.
Now, for those who may not know, what were these two guys like as pitchers in the league? Were they, popular, kind of just flying below the radar? Did they, were people big fans of them?
Yeah.
I don't know if I can speak to their popularity. They were certainly, like any other player, well respected in their clubhouse. And Clase was arguably, especially a couple of years ago, one of the top closers in the sport, one of the best relief pitchers. He is someone with a big name. He's been an all-star, I believe. Luis Ortiz is a younger starting pitcher who was the object of a big trade the Guardians made to get him from Pittsburgh and the guy that they were counting on to be part of their future. So these are not anonymous players by any stretch of the imagination. Clase is a rather well-known player, and Ortiz is not exactly an unknown.
Right. And how do you prove that they were doing this? Looking through the indictment, there were texts that seemed pretty damning where someone who was brokering this deal said, and one of them texted the other one being like, tell everybody it's for a horse. It's like $10,000. Tell them it's about a horse. And it's like, what? Which seems damning, but also like, how do you prove that it wasn't just a bad pitch? Like, I know they were purposely pitching into the dirt, which seems, it's like if you're a major league
professional.
Yeah, it's probably possible not to do that. Although it happens. So how does the process play out from here?
Charlotte, that's a great point. And I'm the son of an attorney, the husband of an attorney, and yet I don't know the answer to that question.
Okay,
so,
cool.
Yeah,
Makes me feel better.
Too often. But
yeah, right.
I would expect that somehow the government would try to demonstrate that there was a pattern and that this was purposely done. And you're right. Pitches do go in the dirt, and pitches sometimes are harder than others. And it would be, I would think, to your point, somewhat difficult to prove. But at the same time, they have all these text messages, all these communications. And if you read the indictment, all that comes out. And I would expect if the government is going to take on a case of this nature, which is going to make headlines, obviously it's a huge sports gambling case, then it would feel confident about its ability to secure a conviction. But again, I'm going to repeat it because it's important. Innocent until proven guilty. And again, both players have insisted, their lawyers have insisted they're innocent. There was a report yesterday that Clase's communications were about bets regarding rooster fighting, not baseball. Really.
Okay.
So again, we'll
dig
see
into
what
that.
happens. We'll see how it all plays out. Yeah.
Yeah. Whatever you're into.
I'm not an expert on rooster fighting. Yeah.
No, me neither. Me neither. What is the feeling across the league right now? Are people across the league feeling like, oh, this is just the beginning, or it does feel like an isolated incident?
That's a good question. And I would think more the former than the latter, that it's just the beginning, that there will be other situations like this. It has cropped up in other sports leagues as well. This is a byproduct of legalized sports gambling and also a byproduct of the leagues, companies, media companies embracing the sports gambling, advertising, and all of that. Now, one interesting thing that's come out of this so far is that Major League Baseball has worked with the sports books to ensure that a cap on these types of bets, pitch bets, micro pitch bets, they call them, would only be $200, and they could not be part of parlays, larger bets.
Okay.
So that's something that's going to come out of this, trying to at least put some limits on what players might do if they're thinking about doing it at all, and they shouldn't be thinking about doing it at all. Betting on baseball, as Pete Rose can attest, the late Pete Rose, it's the cardinal sin in the game. It's what gets you thrown out of the sport. And I would expect if baseball finds or the indictment is honored and convictions are made, then these guys will not be playing again.
Is this connected to those other betting investigations at all? Like, you know, the news that broke in the NBA about Chauncey Billups, the, I guess, former coach of the Trailblazers or on leave coach of the Trailblazers, rigging games with members of the mafia, and then Terry Rozier, you know, playing badly on purpose for those prop bets, those individual bets. Is that connected at all, or was this happening? Because that was the FBI. This is a New York district court. I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
Yes.
Okay. No doctor.
No doctors.
I don't believe it's connected. And it seems to me it's two entirely different things, actually. One in the NBA, one in Major League Baseball. And I would not expect Chauncey Billups and Emmanuel Clase to have any kind of connection at all.
Yeah.
So the connection,
but it's not
I
a
think,
part of the same digging into stuff.
It's not as I understand it, Charlotte.
Okay.
Now, the connection is that this is going to happen in leagues because people are betting on these things now. And you know what? It's been a development that, frankly, in my opinion, has not been good for any professional sport. You have players now getting threats from bettors, hearing things on social media that maybe they would have heard anyway in a different way because social media is what it is. But now some of it is betting related, and it's ugly, quite frankly.
Yeah. You famously broke the sign stealing story in 2017 with the Houston Astros. Do you feel like this story, just as a scandal for the MLB, will be bigger than sign stealing? Or do you still feel like, in terms of like capital S scandals for the MLB, that Houston Astros, I always think about that. Anytime I see a former Astros player on another team, I think there was one on the
George Springer.
Yeah, George Springer.
Madeline was like, well, he's a cheater, so the Blue Jays deserve to
He's
lose.
a cheater. He's a cheater. Do you
She's
feel
not the
like
only one who
there's...
feels that way.
I would imagine so. Do you think that this gambling scandal, you mentioned it was kind of maybe only the beginning for the league, that it potentially could be bigger than that sign stealing scandal?
You know what? I have not thought about that. That's a good question. And I wrote that story with Evan Drellick of The Athletic, and that was about cheating in the sport. And that was a huge story at the time, and remains to this day a huge story, because players were conspiring to cheat other teams, essentially. Yeah. And the Astros, what they were doing, were seeking unfair competitive advantages through electronic means, banging on a garbage can, all of that. This is, to me, more isolated to individual players who weren't necessarily causing their teams to lose. They were just doing things that could cause a team to lose, but it wasn't that deliberate. I don't know that it's going to have that kind of impact. They're kind of different in that regard. Both are important, and there were rules changes that came out of the sign stealing story. Baseball cracked down on the electronics that were going on, the electronic part of sign stealing. Sign stealing is legal. It goes on all the time, but you have to do it with your eyes and your brains. Right. So I can't say this is going to be bigger or not bigger. It's different. That's the best way to describe it. Different.
Yeah, it's almost like a different type of cheating.
Yes.
It's like individual cheating to make 12 grand when you're already making a lot of money. I don't really understand the logic, but yeah, it almost feels like it's like individual cheating versus if an entire team was collectively, involved in a gambling scandal. I guess that would be different.
I was going to say, to be fair, the Astros players have always insisted it wasn't all of them. And some of them to a greater extent than others. It wasn't the whole team, but it was a team-wide thing that they were doing. So, that it's different because of that. And because the perception is still to this day that they stole a World Series 2017 by doing what they did. Now they will deny it. They will say their own thing. It didn't happen, that whatever. Right. Baseball found them to be guilty of this. And that perception, especially in Los Angeles, the team that played the Astros that year, the Dodgers, that perception will live forever, I would expect.
Hear me out. What if the way that the Astros were stealing signs, they'll say they weren't, they were with the electronics. Is that like the original cheating on an essay with AI at this point, where like you can do it? Like if you're looking at someone else's paper, okay. I mean, not good, but like you can't. But if you're using a computer, it's worse. I don't know. Just spitballing here.
It was more primitive than AI, but it was that kind of thing. It was advanced technology that enabled this to happen, and they were taking advantage of advanced technology in ways that now are prohibited.
Crazy. Yeah. Crazy. Well, I have to ask, this is not a baseball related question, but we do ask all of our guests this, and we are putting you on the spot here. So if you don't have an answer, it's all right. But we ask every single one of our guests what their favorite piece of sports gossip is of all time. And for me, I often always talk about Larsa Pippen dating Marcus Jordan, Michael Jordan's son. It doesn't have to be relationship based. I would argue your sign stealing story is
definitely sports gossip.
It's a great sports gossip story. But I don't know for you if in any sport there is a story you think about or it pops in your head from time to time that you're like, that was such a strange story in sports.
Okay, I do have one, and it goes back to my days at the Baltimore Sun. And I was a columnist at the newspaper and did a lot of Orioles coverage because at the time the Orioles were the only team in town. The Ravens came later when I was at the paper. Now, there was a game, I believe 1993 or so, Orioles versus the Seattle Mariners at Camden Yards in Baltimore. The lights go out and the game is delayed. Charlotte knows exactly where I'm going with this.
My family are Orioles fans. This is a great one. Yeah.
The gossip was that initially, this kind of mushroomed over time. The initial rumor was Cal Ripken Jr., who was in the middle of his consecutive game streak and had not yet broken the record, was somehow late to the ballpark. Something happened at home and he just couldn't get there and they had to delay the game. That's the original rumor.
Yeah.
The rumor after that, and this is a rumor, and it was never, ever proven to be true. And the Baltimore Sun did pursue it when I was there. We did try to check whether this was true. Supposedly, his wife, now ex-wife, was with Kevin Costner. He caught them, and that's what happened.
No.
There is
my God.
evidence. There is no evidence whatsoever that this happened, and it was only kind of like one of these things that just over time people came to like think, oh yeah, that's how it went down. No, it's not how it went down, but that was the rumor. And again, it's gossip. It was not true, but that was definitely because it was talked about for a long time. And the Baltimore Sun did pursue it, angered Cal by pursuing it. And I don't want to go any further. But
hear me out.
There was never, ever a shred of evidence that this happened.
Did Bull Durham, the movie, had already come out at this point, right? Where Kevin Costner
I think so,
played a baseball player.
Yeah.
I feel like if that movie hadn't come, like that movie just made this feel obvious.
Yes.
It's like, well, of course you would have a thing with Kevin Costner playing this baseball player.
Right.
Like, you know, you're into baseball players. Why not? It's Kevin Costner, you know, tough to say
Tough
no.
stuff. Oh my God, that's amazing.
Again, I'm a little reluctant to even talk about it because it's not true, but that is the biggest piece of sports gossip that I ever had even a peripheral involvement with
is
because
great.
I was there. I was in Baltimore.
That's amazing.
And
Now,
the funny thing was, that was a really big game, and Randy Johnson was pitching for the Mariners. Lou Piniella was managing the Mariners. This was before Ichiro. This is the 90s. And at the time, the Mariners were very good. The Orioles were very good. And Lou Piniella flipped out when the lights went out. He's like, what are they doing? This is great.
Oh my gosh.
That's a really good strategy. Just shut the lights off.
Shuts the light when in doubt. Because it'll take a lot of people to figure out where the light switches are for the whole stadium. It probably takes a minute to turn the generator back on. You know, it's not like you're just in a house and got to flip the little switch.
Oh yeah, no,
you know,
much bigger.
Ken,
before we let you go, where do you see this story going from here? And you know, because it is two pitchers, because it is a lesser amount of money involved here, is this something that you think is going to fade away? What do you see as sort of the next steps of this story?
Well, I think we have to see how the case plays out, first of all. And I hate to sound like one of these boring attorneys, but we have to follow the law and make sure everything is properly followed. But listen, the Shohei Ohtani story, in the eyes of many, is still something that in some people's opinions has not gone away. A lot of people were not satisfied with the explanations that were given, even though they were pretty clear cut if you read the government report on that. So I don't know where this goes next. Obviously, we have to see whether these guys are innocent or guilty, according to the law, whether something else comes out of this, and then where baseball goes with it. And then I would imagine things will crop up from time to time in the future. Bigger than this, I don't know. Maybe this will send a message to players. Don't be stupid. But people do crazy things. And even people you would not expect, people making a lot of money will do crazy things for more money, even if it's not a lot of money. So I don't know where it goes, but the story's not fading. It's certainly a meaningful one. And actually, the Cleveland Guardians president of baseball operations, Chris Antonetti, is going to speak today to the media. And I'm sure he won't have anything to really say. There's not much he can say. He's not involved in it. But there will be questions about this. There's no doubt. How you proceed? Do you expect these players to return? What do you think is going to happen? He'll have no answers, I would think, but those questions will be posed.
Yeah. Wait, I lied. Sorry. One more quick question. You're famous for wearing these amazing bow ties on broadcasts. How many bow ties do you think you own?
I don't know. It's probably upwards of 100. And
awesome.
To tell you the truth, this was never my idea initially.
What?
I don't know if you guys know the story. So it was like 2012, I believe. I can't remember the exact year. 2010, 2012, in that range. And the head of Fox Sports at the time was a guy named David Hill, a very boisterous, charismatic Australian. And he's the guy who invented Fox Sports. He's a big deal.
Yeah.
He decided he wanted me in a bow tie because that was the way he thought I would stand out. Now, I was like hey, isn't my reporting supposed to be what makes me stand out? Isn't that kind of how this works? But it was television, and I didn't really understand. And so he made me wear it that postseason. And then that offseason, a guy named Dhani Jones, former NFL player, came to me and said he has this nonprofit. They connect with different charities and have bow ties represent the different charities. And that's how it started.
Oh.
Because at that point I thought, okay, David Hill's going to make me do this again. I might as well get control of it.
Yeah.
And that is why I wear them. I don't necessarily like the look. I don't necessarily like them. My wife hates them. My personal opinion as a short guy is that I'd rather have the long tie because maybe in somebody's mind I look a little longer, but whatever. It's long past any of that. I have to wear them all the time. And when I don't wear them, it's funny. People will say, hey, where's the bow tie, man? A flight attendant the other day is like, where's the bow tie? I'm like, I'm on a plane. What am I doing? So
I feel like I wear a bow tie to the gym. Casual bow tie.
No. Not happening. Not happening ever.
I love it. Well, we think you're working them. Thank you so much for your time, Ken. We are so grateful. And unfortunately, now that we have a line of communication to you, you're probably going to have to come back on our show.
Yes.
That's fine. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Oh, I love chatting with Ken.
Well, I mean, I just really love when I've never had the pleasure of speaking with Ken before. And I think there was a part of me, like when we asked him to come on the show and he like knew who we were.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying this to be like, look how humble we are. I was truly like, oh my God.
It was crazy.
Ken Rosenthal.
I was honored.
He's a big deal.
He's a really big deal.
I feel that way about a lot of our guys.
I know. His piece of sports gossip talking about the lights going out at the Orioles game, unbelievable. I was locked in.
The Cal Ripken Jr. wife, Kevin Costner story is something that I've thought about a lot. That's why I said in the intro, I was like, I can't believe I haven't been. I might start stealing that.
Steal it.
Even though he
steals the sign.
Ken is also such a good, just steal the sign. Ken's also such a good journalist.
Yeah.
You could tell it like pained him to say that without evidence.
Yes.
So we want our listeners to know that is not true as of now, but the lore
exists.
I wish it were, and somewhere deep in my heart, I'm still holding out hope.
You're holding out hope.
I am.
Me too. As a gossip expert, yes.
All right, let's transition to the NBA.
Oh boy.
We talked on Tuesday about how Nico Harrison, the general manager of the Dallas Mavericks, was finally fired after trading away a generational talent in Luka Doncic in the middle of the night to the LA Lakers. And first of all, before we get into the update we have, I have to issue a formal apology to my co-host.
What?
Because when we were talking about it and you were saying like, well, the front office also bears some responsibility. And I was like, well, the buck really stops with Nico. Patrick Dumont, owner of the Mavericks, issued which I hate more than anything, when owners put out letters to fans.
I know.
And in reading that, it made me think you are right, that he does definitely bear some responsibility.
Well, I think he does because ultimately, yes, Nico Harrison, of course, has a high up position within the organization and has a lot of decision-making power and firing power. However, thinking about the Luka trade, do you think that Nico was just going to trade away their star player without getting sign-off from ownership? Like, that literally would not happen. And if it did, Nico would have gotten fired 9 months ago when they found out. Yes. And they're like, what the hell? Why did you trade away Luka?
They would be on a plane to LA, like dragging him back.
Yeah. In the back of a van. They're like, come back.
I just want to read a part of this letter that Patrick Dumont put out. He said, no one associated with the Mavericks organization is happy with the state of what we all believed would be a promising season. You have high expectations for the Mavericks, and I share them with you. When the results don't meet expectations, it's my responsibility to act. I've made the decision to part ways with general manager Nico Harrison. I would say Nico Harrison has given Patrick Dumont, the owner, the best scapegoat of all time. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
It was Nico's fault. Nico masterminded this. He also got rid of a lot of people in the Mavs organization where it's like, what are you doing?
Right.
But Patrick Dumont is now saying it's like he's acting as though he's also a fan, being like, I watched this helplessly as you did. And it's finally come to my attention that I could do something about it. It's like, miss me with that.
No, I think it's a little late. It's a little late.
It's also just cowardly.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, own it. You own the team. Yeah. You literally you pay Nico Harrison's salary.
Right.
Own it, babe. Own it.
Own it. And also, like, don't say you're also disappointed. So you saved the day by doing what fans have been chanting, fire Nico, for 9 months. Like,
please.
So,
yeah.
Owner. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyways.
So the update, Nico Harrison on Instagram updated his Instagram bio. Before it said GM of the Dallas Mavericks, and now it says unemployed.
It says girl dad.
Girl dad. Unemployed.
Which is a...
Listen, I appreciate the sense of humor. You texted me, though, and you're like, are we a fan of Nico now? And I go, no, absolutely, we're not a fan of Nico.
No, I'm going to out... I said, do we love Nico?
And I was like, we don't. But what we do love is a good PR move. Yeah. And this was an excellent PR move on Nico Harrison's part.
Here are the markers of a good PR move. Self-deprecation, acknowledging a situation, and using humor to deflect if it's a situation where it wouldn't be deeply inappropriate to do that.
Yes.
Which I think in the case of sports jobs, that's okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I think he hit all the marks.
The girl dad thing, tossing that in there, if that wasn't in his bio already, and then he put in girl dad.
You know... Let me tell you.
Because if it said girl dad, owner of the GM of the Mavs, that would be one thing. But if it just said GM of the Mavs and then he put in girl dad unemployed, then I'm like, okay,
yeah.
don't use your daughters as like a little sympathy here.
Yeah, you know, that I don't know. This article.
If anyone knows.
If anyone
has a screenshot of Nico's pre-firing.
That's a great question, though. That's a great question. Yeah, I don't know.
Because it's like a little mattress. It like softens the blow.
Yeah.
Girl dad unemployed.
Yeah. 100%.
I would have liked it more if it just said unemployed.
Yeah. Just simple, to the point.
Yeah.
He's going to update his LinkedIn and say looking for work with the little green
open to work.
Open to work. Open to work. That's what it is. Open to work.
Oh man.
In other NBA news, I guess we can call this segment "What's Going On with the Golden State Warriors." Or something.
What's up? Wait, what is our segment called? What's going on here?
What's going on here with the Golden State Warriors? I saw on Twitter some comments from two star players in the Warriors, Jimmy Butler and Draymond Green, that I'm not sure if they're sub-tweeting but sub-talking about each other or if it's in reference to other things going on within the team.
Yeah.
So first thing being Jimmy Butler post-game said, quote, everybody has to be honest with themselves, and said that players need to sacrifice for the greater good of the team and show more fight, which I was like,
Was that before or after Draymond?
That's what's unclear. I don't know exactly which one came first.
Okay. All right.
And then Draymond Green, in a post-game press conference, again, not sure which one came first, he said, quote, I think everyone has a personal agenda in this league, but you have to make the personal agenda work in the team confines. And if it doesn't work, then you kind of got to get rid of your agenda, or eventually the agenda is the cause of someone getting rid of you. Love all the agenda references.
A lot of agendas.
So you're like, okay, is this about Jimmy Butler? Because Jimmy Butler was recently traded to the Warriors. Is it about someone else? Are they talking about completely different things? What's going on?
I don't know. So another thing that happened. So Jimmy Butler forced his way out of the Heat. Jimmy Butler is notorious for, if he decides he doesn't want to be on a team anymore, he makes life so miserable for everybody else associated with the team that they're finally like, okay, fine, we'll get rid of you and send you where you want to go.
Yeah.
So part of me is like, is this the start of Jimmy Butler just being like, time to leave the Warriors? Probably
he
not.
Just got there.
But the question to Draymond that he's answering was that after they got Jimmy Butler last season, they were playing really well. This year they're not. They're 6-6. They're on a road trip. Steve Kerr, the coach of the Warriors, has said, like, we're just not playing with the fight that we're supposed to be playing with. Another thing here, though, is that Jimmy, in that same answer, talked about defense, about how the offense is great, but if you're not getting back on defense or playing hard on defense, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Draymond is kind of known as the defender. Draymond is also the same guy who punched his teammate Jordan Poole in the face before the start of a season. So I think people have kind of like online have made the jump that these two are talking about each other because they are the two biggest personalities on the team.
Right.
However, there was also another thing involving a young star, Brandon Podziemski.
Yes, he allegedly said that he wanted to be better than Steph Curry, and he apparently made a number of comments in the lead up to the season about his long-term career ambitions, including during a news conference answer to a question about whether he wanted to be as great as Steph Curry, and he said he wants to be better than him, which apparently elicited some eye rolls and continued references from several members of the Warriors organization. So it's like, that's also heavy. Like, so there's like some, I don't know. It feels like there's some, like, it's like in a class, you know, when you're in a class at school and there's like just the vibes within the group aren't there and everyone's just kind of annoyed at each other. It's like when they threw a bunch of kids together, even though the kids requested to be in, you know, when you would request your schedule and then the teachers were like, nope, we're not putting you with your friends.
Yes.
We're putting you with people you kind of know.
Yep.
And that's like, it leads to these sort of weird tiffs that aren't blowout fights, kind of. I don't know. It just feels a little strange.
Something that I don't fully understand about this is Brandon Pajemski was like famously a very selfless player last year. So part of me is like, is blaming the young guy or did someone put this out there as like the reaction to it to take heat away from the older player? Because like Jimmy, Draymond, and Steph Curry, you know, greatest 3-point shooter of all time, they're all old.
Yeah, they're veterans.
They're like my age or older.
Yeah, yeah.
I can't jump, you know, like, you know, it's like there, this is, I think that maybe what's going on here is that these generationally great players are maybe starting to slow down a little bit.
Yeah.
And that's where, like, maybe this is actually like an existential crisis that they are all blaming on other people.
Yes. Yes.
But we don't know who that is. Like, that's my galaxy.
Because they haven't
brain.
all accepted yet that like their time to retire will be soonish.
Yes.
You know, and they're not there yet. So it's like they're processing their emotions in real time.
Right.
And it's coming out sideways.
Hear me out. There is a world in which press conferences too for players who have typically been less filtered are kind of therapy sessions.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where you're like, oh, should have saved that for the chair.
Right.
Like should have waited
Save it for the chair.
Yeah. Wait for your session.
Yes.
And if you're not seeing someone, I would argue that probably every professional athlete should have a therapist because it seems pretty intense.
Yes, I think so.
So, yeah, I think that's that.
That's that. I guess we shall see.
We shall see.
All right. On to some relationship updates. We haven't done these in a minute and we have a few to get through.
Yes. Let's start with Angel Reese.
Yes.
Star WNBA player. Angel Reese, there were rumors floating around for a while that she was dating Wendell Carter Jr., who plays for the Orlando Magic. And she seemed to I guess it's not confirmed, it's not a hard launch, but she did post a carousel of images on Instagram where one of the things was a screenshot of some text that said like, I'm paraphrasing because I don't remember exactly what it said. It was like, just know that I have a boo and money or something. Like, just know that I have both. And the caption was, just know I have both.
Yeah.
And then there were a few pictures of her alone wearing Orlando Magic gear.
Oh, I mean, if that's not a sign you're dating someone, I don't know what is.
And given that people have been speculating that it's Wendell Carter Jr., here's what we love here on the Sports Gossip Show. When two players who play the same sport date each other.
Oh, nothing better.
Nothing
better.
Obviously, the king and queen of this are Asia Wilson and Bam Adebayo.
Yeah.
The two basketball, WNBA and NBA stars.
Yes.
Who, when Asia won the WNBA finals and MVP and like shattered all these records, and she was saying how Bam has helped her and how they've like, and then Bam was like, we've made each other better.
So sweet. They're lifting each other
It's
up.
so cute.
It's so sweet.
They do footwork drills together.
I love that. Well, maybe Angel and Wendell are doing the same thing.
Maybe.
Taking a page out of I was trying to think of a couple name for Bam and Asia, but
oh yeah,
whatever. So, someone will come up with one. Someone probably already did. Out of their playbook.
Yeah, that's a tough. Well, Wendell and Angel. Wangel? That kind of works. Yeah.
Well, I hope they're dating because I would love that. I agree.
Yeah,
I do
too.
love like
I need a hard
same
launch,
sport.
Madeline.
Oh, please. That's a soft launch though. Angels, if she's wearing Orlando Magic swag, then that feels like a soft launch.
Yeah.
We're getting there.
Yeah.
Soon we'll get a hand in a photo, and then eventually we'll get like a photo in a carousel post on Instagram.
I have a question for you.
What?
Have you seen the stuff going around online where it's like, ladies, is it embarrassing to have a boyfriend?
You know,
so
I saw that.
Same, which I have thoughts. I wonder, do you think that Angel didn't post him or his face or his body, like even the back of his head, because it's embarrassing for Gen Z to have a boyfriend?
Maybe, but I don't think it's embarrassing.
I don't either.
What are we doing here? I just feel like every couple of years there's always some story that's like some controversial headline. Which, listen, a lot of clicks. I clicked on it. I just don't know if I agree with it.
I don't think it's embarrassing to have a boyfriend.
Oh, my computer beeped.
Oh,
Ignore
hello.
that.
You got a little text? Oh,
little
calendar. What time is it?
Time for you to get a watch.
What time is it?
Anyways.
2 hairs past a freckle?
Okay. Anyways.
What
Okay,
else?
moving on.
Hit me.
Taylor Allison Swift, the fiance and legend, obviously, just clarifying here, of Kansas City Chiefs tight end Travis Kelce have been out and about a lot in New York City.
Yeah.
They've been out and about together at dinner at, I think, Polo Bar. They went to
The corner store.
Corners. I thought she went to the corner store with Sabrina Carpenter.
She did. Oh, sorry. You mean, oh, sorry. Yeah.
Some, whatever.
I can't remember where else she went with
I'm
Travis.
blanking on the other restaurant they went to together as a couple, but they've been out and about. But then also Taylor has been having girl dinners with some of her pals, including Sabrina Carpenter, as you just mentioned, Gigi Hadid and Ashley Avignone. And the theory online is that she is having these individual dinners with people to ask them to be her bridesmaid. We have absolutely no idea if this is true, but I do think it's very sweet if that is what she's doing.
I do too. I also think my brain goes to, she's the one who called herself a mastermind.
Right.
She's also the one who said she doesn't do Easter eggs for her personal life. And so I think it's very interesting. There's a world in which she could ask these people to be her bridesmaids without being seen.
Yes. Oh, yeah, for sure.
So, and who knows if that's what's happening? Maybe they're just going to dinner.
Yeah.
But I do think PR wise and like messaging wise, I am interested as to why she's doing this publicly.
Yeah.
With them.
Interesting.
I'm just, and she was wearing Tom Brown.
Yes.
Which is a new look for her.
New look. Saw her in some trousers. Looked nice.
Yeah, I liked the trousers.
Like the trousers.
I don't think I'm a Tom Brown gal in general.
You're not?
I'm going to be honest. I used to be.
I don't think you were?
Well, I just liked it. In
I don't-
2017,
I don't think
like,
it's, I think
okay.
it looks good on other people.
Yeah.
I don't think it works for me.
Yeah.
But yes.
It's like a logo without a logo.
It's a logo without a logo.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And look, Tom Brown came to us and said, hey, they want to sponsor the pod? I would have that armband on in 2 seconds.
Yeah, come on the pod.
So, I'm just owning up to my own hypocrisy here, but aesthetically, that's my opinion.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. The last little relationship update before we get into a bigger what's going on here relationship update is that singer Madison Beer was spotted at Justin Herbert, quarterback for the Chargers' game last Sunday. That she was there.
Yeah, she was in
So they're dating.
And there was a video of her doing a little dance.
Yeah.
And that's all we got.
That's all we have on that.
And there's that.
And there's that. Okay.
Okay. We had a what's going on here
Yeah,
today?
this is like
Warriors edition?
Yeah.
We got another what's going on here? Aaron Rodgers' wife.
What's going on here? Guys, I would like to say this before we get into this. If anyone has information about what's going on there, please let us know because we are trying to get to the bottom of this. Aaron Rodgers says he is married to a woman named Brittany with an I, but there has been no spottings of her at any games. I don't think anyone has seen her with him publicly.
No.
To our knowledge, right?
The other wags on the Steelers have said to the Daily Mail, which take this with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
Quote, she's a phantom. They were like, we'd love to get to know her, but she hasn't been around. So I understand wanting to be a private person.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers has said before that he had public relationships and those didn't work out. He said that the desire to know more about his personal life is because we were a sick society, which is talking directly to the Sports Gossip Show.
Can I say something though?
Yeah.
He's saying that, but he was the one who gave the information that he was married.
Right.
It's like he didn't have to do that. If he wanted to be so private, why would you do that, Aaron Rodgers?
Right. Which is where things start to get a little suspicious. I'm going to go a step further with that.
Okay.
He said on the Pat McAfee show that he is seeing a woman whose name is Brittany, and he specified that her name is spelled with an I.
Yeah.
That's not necessarily something that anyone needs to know, I guess, because he knew it would get picked up in headlines. You could argue he wanted it to be spelled correctly.
Sure.
But it reads to me a little bit like And I'm not saying she's not real. I'm just saying the vibes of saying that and then having no one see her or have any information or public record of a marriage anywhere, to me reads a little bit like when you don't want to go to work or you have something fun you want to do instead. So you make the mistake of making up a lie that is too elaborate. I learned early on, if you're going to lie, don't give details. Because it's like when you're like, you say to your boss, you're like, so I have this dentist appointment because the crown that they put on 2 years ago, actually, I need to get it replaced because when I ate this cookie the other day, I felt it get a little bit loose, and your boss is like, you're going to the beach. So to me, the detail of the eye, methinks is a little bit too much detail.
I think you are so correct about that.
Raises some suspicions.
It raises suspicions because the thing is, if he had said that, and then gave a little bit more information about how they met. He doesn't listen. I respect it. If you want your private life to be private, that's fine. But if you're giving us her first name and specifying how we should spell it and then not saying anything else, it definitely raises a lot of red flags. So I think you're right. It is. It's like too specific. You're like, wait, what? He could have just said, I'm seeing someone.
Right.
Which would have been a better sentence
now
to say.
Everyone knows what to look for in like public records of marriage
Brittany with
license.
Yeah.
And no one can find one.
No. Which I do think you can make your marriage license private.
Oh.
But I do think like
what I know.
I'm just like, there's really not a single person who has, like, they don't go out to dinner.
I know.
You know, like, I'm just like, what's going on here?
It's also, what's going on here? It's also
here?
like, if you don't want people to wonder, don't breadcrumb tiny bits of information and then completely not give any more information.
Yeah,
it's what you're saying. It's like, just don't.
Right.
Just don't.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't know. I find it very fishy, and I think it was a strange PR move on his part to even say her name and then never follow it up with anything. And then it just makes us be more suspicious. I'm sorry, we're a very skeptical society.
We are.
Especially now.
Also,
in this day and age.
Yeah, with AI.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew it.
I know. Also, Aaron Rodgers has historically not been great in relationships with women. Shailene Woodley said it was toxic, her relationship with him. Danica Patrick, I think, said it was emotionally abusive. Like, there are things here not great. Not great. No. So I just feel like I would like nothing more than to find out she's real and find some information about her. But I would also, the only thing I would like more than that is for someone to be like, yes, we definitively know that this is not real.
Yes. Just we want an answer.
Because it would really go with his Enigma brand.
Yes. Totally. It really would.
Not for any schadenfreude, not for any personal, just because the most Aaron Rodgers thing ever would be for Brittany with an eye to turn out not to be real.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that's the case. I'm
just saying.
We're just
asking questions here on the Sports Gossip Show. So
sound
off with your thoughts in the comments, or if you have any information, shoot us a note. info@sportsgossipshow.com. And as always, please like and subscribe.
Rate and review.
Follow us on Instagram at Sports Gossip and TikTok at Sports Gossip Show. Subscribe to our Substack, sportsgossipshow.substack.com.
If you become a paying subscriber, you've got access to our chats.
Yes, we'll be turning one live today for Thursday Night Football.
Ooh, Pats.
Very exciting.
Go Pats.
Go Pats.
What is this, 2005?
Oh, my God.
All right. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, thank you to Ken.
Thank you to Ken.
One more thank you to Ken Rosenthal.
Thank you so much for coming on.
All right.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.